What's up, crew? In episode 3 of the AIRHORN podcast, I get Rémy Métailler on the line and we discuss some of his experiences at Red Bull Rampage, how he handles fear, and his views on YouTubers. So why am I holding things up with this weird intro? Well, I was so stoked to talk with Rémy that I totally forgot to say that this is the AIRHORN channel, and it is the companion channel to my MTB ALAN channel, my main mountain biking channel. On this channel, I house all my raw vlogs as well as these AIRHORN podcasts, which are interviews with members of the mountain bike community. So do check to see if you're subscribed. If you're here, you're probably already subscribed, but please do check that to see if that subscribe button is red. If it is, hit it. You're supporting the channel by doing that. I know I'm probably already showing up in your feed, but by making sure you're subscribed, you help grow the channel. And the sooner we get to 1,000 subscribers, the sooner this channel will have more capabilities on the YouTube channel. Also, hit the comments with whatever questions you have and whatever thoughts you have, and please do share this podcast with others. All right, let me get out of the way, and I'm gonna pass myself over to my past self, and yeah, to the interview. This is the AIRHORN podcast. Gonna slow down and talk about going fast. It's another mountain biking podcast, and we sometimes answer some questions you have. Listen at 1 1/4 speed. Listen in any order you please. It might be the worst, could be the best, but it sure ain't a raw vlog, cause we got a guest. It's the AIRHORN podcast. What's up, crew? Hope you're having a rad day. Welcome to the AIRHORN podcast number 3 with our guest today. Oh, I should have asked you this beforehand. Rémy Métailler?
That's pretty good. Yeah, that was a pretty good pronunciation. Yeah.
Oh, thanks. So Rémy is a professional mountain biker out of Whistler, BC. He's a part-time MTB coach, product tester for his sponsors, as well as a regular at the Red Bull Rampage since 2015, correct? Yeah. So if you don't know what the Red Bull Rampage is, this is Rémy's 2018 run number 2. This is what it looks like. And if any of you know anything about the GoPro effect, you know that this is way more intense than it looks. I'll put a link to this video in the bottom. So I just kind of want to give you a little taste of what Rémy is about and what he's capable of doing on a mountain bike. Before we go any further, if you don't already know, you should already know who this guy is. So yeah. So there's that. I just kind of wanted to give you a little taste of that. Rémy, first off, thank you so much for taking the time to do this for this small little YouTube channel.
Thanks.
Yeah, how's it going, man? Where are you at right now?
Really good. So I live in Squamish, actually, which is just basically south, like 35 minutes south of Whistler. It's a little town in between Vancouver and Whistler that's becoming, basically one of the top destinations in the world for mountain biking, because you can bike basically all year round, which is, to me, like kind of like the dream spot. So yeah, I'm at home in Squamish, and man, yeah, that's about it.
Right on. You also have a quickly growing YouTube channel with a bunch of like really nicely produced videos. It's not just a pro mountain biker that's throwing out whatever content. You're actually doing some work, putting out good content. So crew, if you don't already follow Rémy, you should do that as soon as possible. No problem. So we're just going to jump right in just so that I can get to know you better, and then just people can generally get to know you better. One of the things that we like to do, or that I like to do on the podcast, is do a couple of segments. And the first segment is milestones. And in milestones, I basically ask for 3 milestones in your mountain biking or just your biking career.
Okay.
Like key moments.
So 3 key moments. I'll say the first one was to come to Whistler. I mean, that was for me a dream since 2004. That's when I first heard of Whistler. I remember watching like over and over that video of Crankworks. And I seriously watched that video like hundreds of times. I actually really like the song, but it was a good mix of riding of like 3 minutes. And and I was like, one day I'll go to Whistler. So the first time I actually went to Whistler, and that first experience in Whistler was something I'll never forget. It was pouring rain, and it was wet and it was slippery, but I had the best time ever. And, that's pretty the first, like the
Great. So you did you grow up it's in Grasse? Is that where you grew up?
Yeah, close by. So I was born in Grasse, and so Grasse is actually the worldwide capital of perfume.
Okay.
So that's where like all the fancy like all the top fashion company produce their perfume.
Oh, okay.
So it's very famous for that. Just for the story. And
right.
So I grew up. I grew up close by that. So behind Cannes, where there's a film festival.
Right. And it's pretty warm and it's like Mediterranean kind of weather down there.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's pretty warm. It's definitely one of the best weather in France. You got the winter aren't bad at all. And we have mountains close by, so you get snow in the winter, but only in the mountain really. And the temperature is good. It's really good for mountain biking because you can ride absolutely all year long.
Okay, I didn't mean to interrupt your milestone. I was just thinking like you went to Whistler. It's cold and raining. You would come from a warm place.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, in the summer, Vancouver and Whistler has pretty similar temperature to the south of France. I actually have been in the south of France in the summer since 7 or 8 years now, so I don't even remember how it looks like. But Whistler and Vancouver can get really, really warm. So it's not a huge change. It's just I'll say the temperature in France and the climate is more consistent through the year, whereas Whistler, Squamish, you really have 2 seasons.
Got it.
Seasons, but like winter and summer are completely different.
Yeah. So that first milestone was hitting Whistler in the rain. And
the second one was pretty going to Rampage in 2015. Where I thought I didn't belong there at all. I was like pretty confused. I was like, why do those guys invite me? Because I'm not gonna do any tricks, and I had never done a drop before, basically. Like
you'd never done
a proper drop, no, because I've never built one. And drops, like I've done drops before, but never something like significant, And
so can you can you unpack that a little bit, because you've been a Red Bull Rampage athlete. So when you say a proper drop or a significant drop, that probably means something different than what it means for most people.
Yeah, it will be something that you can't find basically anywhere else because it's too big and too dangerous, and no one will leave a drop like that because accident would happen basically.
Yeah. Okay.
You'll never find that in a bike park.
Right.
That being said, you can find some bike park with big drop, but I like at Rampage, that like free riding spirit, like is something you will not find unless you go and build something like that. And you see a lot of people building stuff, but I've never seen anyone building stuff as big as Rampage outside of Rampage.
Do you feel like you connect to that free ride spirit?
Yeah, actually, I think my riding, like right now I'm doing, a lot of trail biking. But the way I see features, the way I see trail is completely, free ride orientated. I'm always trying to be creative and find drops and lines. I'm actually going to go and build a line today where I'm going to be riding it on a trail bike, but realistically, it's more a free ride line.
Right.
So that's the kind of riding I like. I like to find like raw terrain and like super technical. I don't like to actually build stuff. I like to keep it as natural as possible. So obviously you still have to build to make it rideable. Even at Rampage, you can't ride raw terrain. The ground will be too soft, and so you have to make some work to make it rideable. But I think that's my style of riding.
Right. Cool. So milestone number 3?
Milestone number 3, I think, to be honest, it happened like after Rampage. I was starting to make a living from mountain biking, I think in 2015. But it was realizing that mountain biking would be a full-time job and something that can actually make money, which is something that I've never considered before. I never thought that it would ever be a job. I actually went to a business school, and so I have a business and international marketing degree. And the reason why I came to Whistler for biking, but my reason to come to Canada was actually to get, obviously to ride a bike, but it was mostly to get experience in a foreign country and improve my English and be able to get a job in the field I studied with some Canadian companies. So, Raceface, Rocky Mountain, One Up, basically any company or Norco, any company based out of Canada. So that way I could live in Canada close by Whistler, ride in, some of the best terrain in the world while working in the field I studied. Wow. And I never considered that I could ever make a living from biking.
Huh.
And I think that's the stuff I'm the most proud of, because that was like, it was not even a dream, because to me it was like, it was not something I could reach. And I know some people are like really dreamy, but I like to dream of stuff that I can achieve. If it's too far from the reality, like becoming a Formula One driver, I know I'll never become a Formula One driver. It's not something I dream of, because to me it's not something I'm ever gonna reach. Well, I don't know, like something that's more tangible, if that makes sense, is something I can dream, because I'm like, if I work really hard for it, I might make it happen.
It's really cool to hear, because I think a lot of people might look at somebody like yourself who's, they see you now, but they haven't seen all the work that's gone in. They don't know that, like, you were walking in with doubt. You didn't know if these things could happen, but you did it anyway, and you did the work, and now you're at a place where you're at. And I think that's good for people to hear that, like.
Yeah, I think like hard work is like the number one quality you can have for, if you have any dreams, if you want to achieve any dreams, like hard work is the number one thing that's going to help you. Like whether it's, not necessarily for being professional mountain biker, but like, if tomorrow your dream is to set up like a restaurant, regardless how much talent you have and how many good ideas, like what's going to make it work is hard work before anything else, I believe.
Yeah, I agree. And I think there's a lot of aspects of discomfort in that, which I think kind of gets us, like, segues into one of the things we wanted to talk about, which was like the role of fitness for you, because I know, like we were kind of talking before, I think we're both kind of lovers of fitness and training. And I know that that's played a significant role in your mountain biking. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I've always been like, really active, and actually before biking seriously, I had a period for, I think it was only like 9 months or 10 months where I started to run, and I was doing 10-kilometer run, and I was progressing really fast. I was also lighter, and it's something I really enjoyed, and I kind of felt like I was getting stitch, and I could not get rid of the stitch when I was pushing, and so which is actually why I stopped, because I was getting bothered of like not being able to progress past a certain time, like, or going under a certain time on 10-kilometer, because I was getting stitch and I could not figure out how to remove them. Like every time I'll push, I get the stitch. So I've always been like super active, but I definitely feel like being strong on the bike is definitely something that's extremely important when you're gonna push your riding. doesn't necessarily make you more skilled, but it allows you to push more. So, to do bigger jump, take bigger impact, and then obviously for, injury prevention.
Right. And we're not just talking about like pedaling and working cardio. We're talking about like building functional fitness, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't actually do much cardio. I mean, I do it because I pedal every day, but I don't do specific exercise on cardio, which I totally should. That will make me faster for sure. But it's also painful, right? So
it's uncomfortable.
It's very uncomfortable. Whereas like moving weights, it's painful for only a few seconds you do it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
What's your deadlift right now?
Oh, right now it would be pretty, not nearly as much as I used to, but I had, it's funny, I was going to the gym, like, I think it was 2 years and a half ago. And people were looking at my deadlift and like, oh, dude, you're really strong. And I was like, oh, I don't really realize, but deadlifts were somehow very natural for me. Was like squats or bench press is not something where I'm naturally good, but deadlift was the first time I actually did a deadlift, like heavy deadlift, where like I lifted 160 kilos. I'm not sure how it's in pound.
That's like 355 or something like that. Yeah, it's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's close to that. Yeah, and then people are like, oh, if you train, you could do 200. And I think within a couple of months, I think it was a couple of months, maybe a bit more. Anyway, I had like a coach and she gave me a program and she's like, well, you need to work on your front squats so you can deadlift more. And within a couple of months, I think I went to 200 kilos. And then my goal was to do 200 kilos. And the day I did 200 kilos, I was like, wow, actually 200 kilos wasn't bad. And so the same day I did 205 and 210. And then I've never tried again. I think.
So 210 kilos is about 460 to 463 pounds.
I think it's 463 or 463 pounds, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
And that was, just fun. And then I've never done it again. And actually, I haven't. Now I think I will do sets of 10 instead, just to avoid injuries and stuff. But you know what I did yesterday? I haven't done a deadlift in 3 months, basically. And before that, I hurt my shoulder. So I think it's been even more. And I did with, I think, 40 kilos. And I can feel my hamstring today.
We were talking before we started about training yesterday with your buddy, where you had to maintain social distancing and use gloves on the barbell.
Because I don't have a setup, but it's something I might, after this pandemic, I might buy actually a bar and some weights, because it's something I'm gonna keep for 40 years.
You can do so much. You can do so much with a barbell and some weights.
Yeah, and you don't need that much. That's super heavy weight,
no.
So I don't know. It's something I might, now that I have a place where I can actually storage it and work out from. Something I might consider.
Do you do any coaching, like fitness coaching for anybody?
No, not at all. No.
Okay, but you have started doing some coaching on like at least on your YouTube channel, right? Yeah.
So I have like a mountain bike coaching certification called the PMBI. So it's different level, and I have the level 1, which is the most beginner. Basically, it's more to learn how to safely take people riding. Without risking to injuring them. So it's really targeted to beginner. But I feel like from my experience from biking, what people will look for me is that actually, those actual tips to really take the level to your riding to the next level. But what I need is that's why I've done that course with actually ZEP technique in Whistler. If you guys are interested, to learn, the method of coaching. Like basically how you teach someone how to do something. Because it's not just like, well, if I can do it, just follow me and do it, right? It's it's more complicated. And
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I've started that YouTube channel, and I wanted to like kind of give back the community by sharing like tips and knowledge I have on, you know, how to set up the bike and how to write some features and stuff like that, because down the line I will do private coaching.
Nice. Okay.
I guess every rider does that at some point in their career. One thing slow down, it's like kind of, you know, an easy thing, and it's something I really enjoy actually. I've done it like privately a few times in the past while I take people, but it's something that I think I would really enjoy doing.
Okay. You're not slowing down though.
No, I'm not slowing down actually. The pandemic slowed me down a bit because, you know, obviously it's in Squamish we could still go outside and ride, but I had to go by myself. Right now I started filming a new video. It's nearly done. It's filmed with a drone.
So say again?
It's filmed with a drone.
Okay.
And nice. So because I could do that by social distancing.
Yeah.
Like the guy is actually, I'm never next to the guy actually.
Right.
The guy that sits 10 meters away from me, and just this drone is chasing me. And so that's a really cool project I'm looking forward to put out.
Rad.
And yeah, I have some plan to make some more videos and stuff. I was supposed to go to Utah to do kind of like a remake of Red Bull Rampage, you know, with the borders and everything might be delayed of, you know, a little bit.
Yeah, actually that, I've got like two things that I want to talk about, but that kind of brings us to one we were talking about before about like, some of the experiences you had recently or relatively recently at Red Bull Rampage, where I think your first year there was 2015.
Yeah.
And then I think you went 2016 and then 2017.
2017, I didn't make it past the Canadian border. Yeah, I got denied entrance in the US.
Okay.
To be honest, like for no reason, because it's completely legal as a professional athlete to go and compete on events for prize money under a visitor visa, which is exactly the same as if any citizen from the world was going to the United States to Las Vegas to play poker.
Right.
Unless you get paid to compete, then that's a different story. But you just, you know, enter whatever, even if it's a world championship or an amateur competition, if there is a prize money, you're only gonna win if you make it past a certain level, right? If you finish last and you don't win anything, you don't need a visitor visa. If you finish first and you win, you don't need a work visa either. And so that was my case. And 2015, 2016, no problem. And I've always been like super honest with the border guys. I've never had any kind of issues in any country. So I don't have any kind of record or anything like that. I went before that 15 times in the US for biking. Never had any single issue, always been super honest. And also when I went in 17, same story. And they asked me a question and I literally answered the same than I did in 15 and 16. And the guy was like, "No, you're not going."
What the heck?
So I was really hard because it's, you know, it's the biggest achievement you can do, I believe, in that kind of mountain biking, is to be invited to Red Bull Rampage. It's, you know, because there's only 21 guys in the world that get to go, and it's extremely, extremely hard to get in. And I got denied.
Yeah, that was a weird year. Well, it was the beginning of a lot of weird years. Sorry, what?
And so fortunately, I managed to. So I got my visa cancelled, which I no longer qualify for the rest of my life for a travel authorization, which is what French people have to go to the US. I no longer qualify for it. So I had to apply to a tourist visa, which is something that, you know, someone from Brazil will have to get. States, for example. So that's what I got, which was really hard because they denied me 3 times for that as well. Because, you know, once you get denied at the border, it's really hard to go back to the States. And anyway, so I managed to get it, and then I managed to go back in 2018, and I managed to go and ride the exact same place, and basically done pretty much the same line I would have done if I had made it in 2017. And so I rode it pretty much by myself, just to earn an invite for 2018.
Nice. Okay.
And so fortunately for me, I got an invite, and I managed to go in 2018. And that's the last time I competed.
Got it. Yeah. And then of course this year everything got weird.
Yeah. I'd love to go back this year. I mean, I doubt the event will happen, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I didn't get to do a video to show what I will be able to do. Like, even I think the video on the trail bike I do showcase really well the skills that are required for Rampage, except obviously the trick part that anyway I don't have. But I'm willing to push and add some tricks for it. But yeah, I think you really need to be consistent through your year and ride a lot of downhill bike and a lot of freeride stuff to really earn an invite. It's so competitive these days that now you really need to do something super special to get in.
Yeah. So I guess that that's something I wanted to ask you about, because you've something that I've been wanting to ask you about is, I know, right, you've been riding things like Red Bull Rampage, and I see some of the lines you ride in Squamish, some of the lines you build, and they just look crazy gnarly. And the question I want to ask is, what still scares you?
A lot, actually. If you see me on my bike on top of a feature and I'm about to do it, it's because I'm 100% confident that I'm gonna make it. If I hesitate or if I don't do it, it's because I don't think it's gonna work. But if I go for it, it's because I think I have it. But I'm still obviously very scared. And I think you need to be scared. If you're not scared, that's gonna be a problem down the line. It might be fun for one jump, two jumps, three jumps, but at the fourth one. But yeah, no, I'm actually extremely calculated. Obviously, that everyone makes mistakes, but usually I'm super focused. And if I do something, it's because I think I got it, and I think my riding shows that I'm very precise and calculated. So it's really rare to see me out of control.
Yeah, actually, there was somebody who commented on the Instagram post who said that they felt it. Let me find him real quick. They said, of course, I'm messing this up. McAngry Carlson said, most stylish rider out there, in my opinion.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, that's rad. I think that's really cool to hear that when you're doing these things, I think people can mistake the intensity of what you're doing for you being just I'm just going to send it. I think it's good to know that you've calculated, you've thought about it, and you have a high level of confidence going into that.
Yeah, exactly. Also, what's really important is that I don't want to promote unsafe mountain biking. I want people to look at, and I think that's the feedback that people get from the feelings that people get from my videos. Is that I'm calculated, and I don't want to promote risk.
Yeah,
I hate seeing people injured or crashing, and I'm the first one. If we go and ride together, I'm really warning people towards the risk. Whoever they are. Every time I ride with someone, that's maybe not the most skilled rider out there, I definitely be watch out, this is difficult. If you're gonna attempt it, make sure that your bike is good, and pick your line, watch out for this route, watch out for this. And I'm really trying to get people to be safe wherever they are. And I think it's something really important, because I believe I'm probably more knowledgeable than the average rider. I have a better understanding of each parameter that could potentially be a risk. someone might see a drop and be like, okay, it's dry, and you know, I feel good, and okay, I'm gonna do it. But me, what I might see is that, well, there is a huge compression at the bottom, and I've seen you ride, and your bike is too soft. So when you're gonna land, you might just blow through the travel and lose control, which is something that some people might not necessarily consider.
Yeah, it's interesting because you know, even if you buy like a medium to low end mountain bike, there's still high performance pieces of equipment, and high performance means they also need to be tuned really well.
Exactly.
And that tuning can make a huge difference. So, you know, you are, you have a lot of influence, you know, and so like bringing that message across is really nice. And I do pick that up when I watch your videos, that like you're not just like going crazy. And a lot of your influence is coming through YouTube. And I have a question, if you don't mind, from the outsider MTB, Tony, specifically about YouTube. And his question is, what is the general consensus from other pro mountain bikers of having a YouTube channel? Has it become more common practice for pros to have them, or do you get some pushback by being a YouTuber and a pro? Because you're kind of on both sides right now.
Yeah, totally. That's a really good question, actually. So what happens is that, well, I've had a YouTube channel forever, like since 2013, I think, since the first time I owned the camera, basically. And I've always posted stuff on it, but I've never put any effort. And my bad, I've realized that YouTube was really growing, but I haven't done anything about it. At the time also, I didn't have really ideas of what kind of content I could provide for YouTube. So what I would put is just my race runs and my Rampage stuff, but never really put any thought into it. And it's my bad, like I should have. I feel like the content I'm currently doing, I could have done it 3 years ago. And so I kind of missed the boat. I really started to push my YouTube channel last year in May. So it's been a year. And I'm bothered because I feel like it could have started much earlier. And like, I mean, I felt like the stuff I'm currently doing, I could have done it before, but I haven't because I was so focused on other stuff. It's really hard to actually do everything, like, you know, do writing, do product testing, you know, always be available to do like pictures and videos and you know, get that like cool, snappy content that people want to see, and work on a video project and you know, traveling to a race, and it takes a lot of time, and I didn't make time for YouTube. And so funnily, YouTube always had like a kind of a weird image for professional mountain bikers, and kind of like a negative image. And I've never really understood why. Like basically YouTube isn't cool. That's the general idea for pro mountain biker. And me, I was like, well, it depends what you make on it, because you can, you know, keep being a top mountain biker and make content that's in line with your brand image on YouTube. The thing though is that it's a lot of work, as you know.
Yeah.
And it's for some people that just like, you know, do like 2 minutes or 3 minute segments video of like insane riding, and that don't really have a personality. It's really hard to talk to the camera, right? Some people are, you know, not good at it. I don't think I'm good at it at all. Like, it's something I struggle with. But a lot of people think it's like, oh yeah, YouTube isn't cool. It's not. It can actually downgrade your image, which I disagree. I think it's a great platform, and that's why I'm on it. And it's funny, you had a ton of guys that were completely against it and making fun of their body that were on YouTube.
Really?
Well, I can tell you a few names that now are on it.
Yeah.
You know, like you get like guys like Brendan Fairclough and Bernard Kerr that, you know, for the last 5 years, they took the piece out of Sam Pilgrim. But now Sam Pilgrim, you know, has over 1 million subscribers. He is doing all that content, and I mean, financially, he's doing really well. And, and now the funny thing is that you got Bernard Kerr and Brendan Fairclough that they basically do the same. Because they're like, oh, well, actually, we don't have any other choice than doing it because it works, people like it, and it's important for sponsors. And so those guys now are doing it. And so, yeah, it's funny. Like everyone, as you saw with the pandemic, like everyone has been doing it. But I think regardless of the pandemic, like everyone was going to do it anyway.
Do you think the sponsors have had an effect on that? Like, is there a different feeling from the sponsors about YouTube?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, I think sponsors now look at, they look at numbers and, all the social media platform and you need to be on YouTube too, because, it's something really, it's a great tool and yeah, you need to be using it.
Yeah. So what's your process like on like with a YouTube video?
Well, I try to. So basically, I got like on Instagram, I got content that's like easy to watch, where it's like short video clips and product pictures and writing pictures, where people can see like a short information. They can see the picture and know what I'm talking about. And then like little videos that are entertaining. And for YouTube, I try to do content that people want to sit and watch. And I've created that series called Trail Preview, where the idea is basically I ride, some of the best trail in the world. I normally follow a guest. Right now I'm doing them by myself because of COVID-19. But I basically follow a guest and I comment about the trail and as well the riding of the guest. And I try to add some, riding tips, but also product tips. So it can be, for example, I do a drop and I bottom out. I will comment on the fact that, my bike was a bit too linear and I can fix it by adding a volume spacer on the positive chamber of the shock, for example. Or that, I blew through the travel a bit too fast when I do a nose manual. So I can, add some clicks of low speed compression to hold on my weight better on the fork. So I try to entertain people with good riding, and also tips about the trail, how to find it, where it is, and also show how it's possible to ride it. So I'm always taking the spiciest line to show people what's possible to do on this trail. And I try to also give knowledge about the trail itself and how to ride it. Where you have to be careful, how you can make it easier by opening your line or going on the left of this route so you can straight line a bit more. So yeah, that kind of stuff. It's more like educative content. I try to give to people.
That's so cool. Yeah.
Thank you.
Super useful, because I think like when there's somebody who performs at a really high level, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're capable of transmitting that to somebody else. And like getting that from you, I think is really cool. Do you want to jump into some viewer questions?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, we'll try to bust through these like pretty quick because I don't want to take up too much of your time.
No worries, man.
What's that?
Oh, no worries.
Okay, so I'm gonna go down here towards the bottom. Tristan Bastidas asks, "Will you participate in Rampage 2020?" I mean, there's not going to be one, so.
Yeah, if there was one, and if I was invited, I would obviously go. Realistically, I doubt I'll be invited, and I don't even think there will be one.
Okay. Tyler Lang 687. I believe I've ridden with Tyler. What are your thoughts on mullet bikes?
I think they're amazing for some people. And if you're a smaller guy, and I'm 5'7", so that's 1.70 meters, I can ride a 29er, but I really like 29ers in some situation. But they really handicap me when it's steep and gnarly. And so I ride a mullet bike sometimes. And on some situation, for me, it's day and night. Like I will be on some extreme situations. There is some stuff I will not do with a 29er. But I will do with a 27.5 front and back or with a mullet.
Got it.
So I think they're great, and I think they do make sense.
Some people said they're kind of like the worst of both worlds, is because, or not the worst, they're like the worst of climbing, but like really good at descending.
So yeah, it's like a mullet doesn't perform as good for climbing as 29er. Your weight is a bit too far back, and usually there's very few brands out there that do an actual mullet bike. My bike is a 29 that I put a mullet on, and I make it work by doing like some little changes. And it does not pedal as well, but that's not what I'm looking for performance.
Would you say it's better? Would you prefer a 29er with a 27, like a 29er bike mulleted with a 27 on the back, or a 27 mulleted with a 29er on the front?
29 with a 27.5 on the back.
Okay, cool. There's some dispute about that.
If you put a 27.5 with a 29 on the front, you'll put your bottom bracket higher.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll prefer to have the bottom bracket lower, even though I ride with 175mm crank.
Okay.
It's not for every bike. My previous bike with a 27.5 on the back was a problem, but the current bike I have, what I've done was put a longer fork on the front, slightly longer. I can change the head tube angle, so I have a steeper head tube angle. But because I have a smaller wheel on the back, my head tube angle actually goes back to what it was designed with.
Right.
Even though I have a longer fork. And so my bottom bracket is slightly lower, but not that much. And I think that's the best setup.
Cool. Nice. Do you know, have you heard of Don Sabo? Do you know who that is? Don Sabo. He's a former, I think he's like a former snowboard pro, but he asks, how does he fit his balls in that big inside his riding gears?
It's a challenge, man. It's it's complicated. I have to take 2 size up underwear.
Nice. All right. So my buddy Wade Cox, Cox-a-Doodle-Doo MTB asks, do you feel like you have to be a slope style rider to win Rampage now? And how has Rampage changed over the years?
I feel like you need to have like a huge bag of tricks to perform at to be a podium contender at Rampage. You need to have a flat fleet drop, and you need to have a 360 drop, and you need to have Superman dialed, because the bike has a downhill fork. You can't anyway do tie whips and stuff. But I mean, now if you want to win, you need to have tricks on big jumps. Okay. I think just a single backflip isn't enough anymore.
Okay. Good. All right. Owen Hobson 72 asks, how do you overcome fear?
By you overcome fear, like you manage fear, if that makes sense, with the experience that you gain on the terrain. So the more experience you can get, the better you can anticipate and reduce the risk. And so basically, the more knowledge you get, the better rider you become, the more confident you can be while doing stuff, and then you have a better idea of the outcome of riding a certain feature because you're more knowledgeable about it, and so then your fear basically goes down.
Yeah, I think what I found interesting about what you said earlier when we were talking about like what still scares you is you mentioned that you will be scared and confident at the same time.
Yeah, like I can try a new feature and I'm confident I'm gonna make it good, but at the same time I'm scared because I've never done it. So there is always like that parameter of like, what about if my speed is off? Or what about if the impact is bigger than anticipated? Or what about if I get kicked weird because there's weird routes or whatever?
Do you find yourself thinking about all that?
Yeah.
Like before you drop in?
Yeah, always. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and sometimes I've done that feature 60 times, and at number 60, I no longer think about it because I have so much experience riding it that I know that I have no problem. I can stop there, and I know that the impact is good, and I know that my speed is good. Like yesterday, for example, I filmed a little drop. Nothing special, but well, I've done it for the first time like last week because I never ride this trail. But it's a drop with a gap in the middle, right? And I know that my speed is gonna be right. Like I know that I'm not gonna be way too long or way too short. But there is always that parameter of like kind of unknown. There's a compression before, it's kind of on a corner, it's wet. And so then I do it once, and I've done it good. Second time you still have, okay, well, I still need to be focused. And, then at number 10, like I know that everything should be good. Like something can always happen, right? I could have a freak mechanical on the takeoff. But yeah, like basically you get confident and comfortable, and then the fear really goes down.
Yeah, that's great.
I want to see that cat.
Again? Yeah, she's over here bugging me. She hears me talking. She wants to be part of the conversation.
I love cats.
You love cats? So you're a cat person?
Yeah,
that's right. That's funny. This one's weird. She's like a weird mutt, part China. What's the word? Siamese. It's part Siamese.
Yeah.
She's a weird one. Been through a lot. That's funny. I think there's also that aspect of after you've been riding for a while and you have a certain amount of skill, you have the capability of getting out of a lot of things. Like your tire can go a little bit weird, but you have enough, body and bike awareness to be able to correct. Yeah. Yeah, completely. Accident can always happen. Like yesterday, I actually had my first crash in ages. I was riding as slow as I could on a rock face. Like I literally was trying to stop in the middle of the rock face just to work on my braking, and I've done 10 rock faces in a row on the trail, and everything went perfect. And that little rock face, which normally I would not even consider as a problem, I knew it was completely off camber. So I was expecting to slide, but I thought that when I would feel I slide, I could let go the brake and catch the dirt at the bottom. And actually my bike just went under me, and I went like head first on the bottom of it, and kind of like I was not expecting it. I was expecting to slide, but I was expecting to save it. Right.
I was purposely gonna slide actually, and I thought I would save it, no problem. I didn't even, and the bike just escaped under me, and so accident can always happen. So it's good to be aware of it.
Yeah, totally. That's really cool, man. I kind of want to wrap it up because I don't want to eat up too much of your time. There was one question I did really want to know. One thing I really wanted to know is, so you've been up in Whistler for a while, in Squamish, sorry. And I know Johan Borelli's up there.
Yeah.
And what I've always wondered is, how many times have you seen him naked?
Too many? Too many?
Oh, yeah. Man.
It's actually funny, but he's in real life. I mean, he's serious. Sometimes I had him on the phone yesterday, actually, with a serious conversation. But most of the time, it's just like he's not always serious.
No.
He's not always a clown that you see.
Okay.
Sometimes he's serious, but it doesn't happen very often.
Oh, that's funny. Cool.
It's pretty impressive how it can be. One day he parked at my place to go ride, and he's like, "Where do I park?" And I was like, "Park next to my truck." And the neighbor had basically a brand new bike on the ground, on the side, and I thought that Johan had seen it, and he literally rode his truck onto the bike.
Oh my God.
And I yelled, "Stop!" And he's like, "What's up?" And I'm like, "Dude, you just put your wheel on the bike." And he's like, "Are you serious?" And I'm like, "Dude, don't move. We're gonna find the best way to not make any more damage."
Oh my goodness.
And he just started to laugh. And I was like, "Dude, that's gonna cost you $2,000 to like fix it."
Yeah.
And he could not stop laughing. And he's like, I can either laugh or cry, so I'd better laugh. And yeah, I was like,
yeah, that's fun. I can see that.
Either like the bike was in the middle of the streets, so it's like, anyway, yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's a good story.
Yeah.
Do you ride with him that often?
Sorry?
Do you ride with Johan that often?
No, I haven't rode with him in a while, because actually I haven't rode him since May last year, because he got hurt, and then COVID-19. So I won't be riding with him now.
Yeah,
but it's planned.
Say again?
It's definitely planned.
Okay, cool. Right on. Well, we have one last thing that we do, and actually I've skipped a couple of segments just because I knew there was so much we wanted to get through. And the way I like to close it out is I have what I call an exit exam. Okay. And so I'll read you the description. So mountain biking, which is an imaginary organization which is in charge of mountain biking, which is kind of a pretending now. Mountain biking has asked you to help write the mountain biker licensing exam. So they have to pass this exam in order to be a mountain biker. And they've asked you to write 3 questions that must be on the exam and to provide the answers.
3 questions. Would be, where is the best place to ride mountain bike on Earth? Would be the first
awesome. What's the answer?
The answer would be BC.
Okay.
Which is, let me think of something. That's a tough one. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to send you before the interview.
Yeah.
You don't have to do all 3. I know, because you didn't get to look at it beforehand.
What would be? Okay, this one is more like a pro tip. Which brake stops you and which brake slows you down?
Oh, that's good. And the answer?
So front brake stops you, rear brake slows you down. And another one, we could do a tip, more like, if you're ready to go on a mountain bike or not. It will be, what is the single best piece of advice a mountain biker should get before mountain biking in terms of riding technique? It's the answer I always say in my videos, but I think people don't do it often, and that allows you to become a better mountain biker. It's to look ahead.
Nice.
It's like a little thing, but if you look ahead, you basically become a better biker.
That's funny. That is the first piece of advice I ever got from my buddy who got me into mountain biking.
In any sport, really.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Like even if you play soccer, right? If you just look at your feet, you won't go anywhere, right?
Like dancing. Cool. Man, thank you so much.
Thanks to you.
Really appreciate your time. Crew, thanks for coming along for this episode. I got to start doing these live, I think, but I think getting the questions from Instagram was nice. Hope you dug this. Hit that like button. Check to see if you're subscribed. If you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button, and I'll show up in your feed, and you'll be supporting the channel. Rémy, again, thank you so much. I wish you the best.
Thanks to you, man. Maybe you'll come to Squamish and we can go on a ride.
Yeah, for sure. I was hoping we could go this year, but I don't think they're going to open up the border. They're opening Whistler pretty soon, right?
There's no official dates. But I have heard that June 26th, Big White Resort will open, which makes me think that Whistler is going to have to open because, obviously they don't want to lose.
Yeah. Well, I'll be looking forward to your videos up there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but I will try this.
All right, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Bye, everybody.
See you next time.